Making your way through work Monday takes everything you got. Then Monday night rolls around and you realize there's a shot. You're only 10 points away. All those times when your team had no fight, they're just so gosh darn frail. Then your star quarterback let another deep ball sail, and your third round pick bet on his team. Then go check out our streets where everybody knows your pain, and they listen to complaints. You wanna be where you can see our bodies bring you no shame. You wanna go where everybody knows your pain.
Welcome in. I think I have duplicate audio going right now.
That was interesting.
Oh no!
Extra,
Oh no! You know what?
pizzazz.
It's actually my yes. Okay, found out. It's just my phone.
I was
Got
gonna
to
say.
think logically here. So wait. I do want to tell you guys this before I introduce you guys. Well, yes. Discord was pulling some sort of audio from me. The moment I closed it, everything got more clear and loud. It was insane. So that's why I'm struggling in this intro. As always, though, it's a typical thing. What's up, Robbie Bobby?
What's going on, Mario? As always. Good evening, Albert. What's up, buddy?
What's up, Albert? We got Norton joining the show today. It's been a while since the three of us got together, yeah?
Yeah, it's been a little bit. It's been me and Robbie solo dolos.
Holding it down, baby.
Yeah, Norton, you've been
Doing it
dealing
up.
with old crusty Robbie. It's okay, though.
We've had fun. We've been
For
having a
sure.
good time.
For sure.
Yeah.
Always a good time.
Yeah.
You just miss it.
I mean, look, I was doing. We were doing our own shows, you know. We had the other slots. We're looking at the Friday night special coming up, you know.
Yeah.
GIF.
No.
What up, D?
Got some squads coming through today.
What up, Willie? What do you guys do? You guys gaming? You know they're gaming. They never tell me when they're gaming anymore. It's like I don't even get an invite.
They know you're on the pod, dude.
If it's not the pod, it's video making or something else.
Yeah.
It's a constant grind.
Constant.
It is.
We're doing it, though. We're doing it for the people. For the Dad Bod Squad.
Absolutely. Always.
Like generally the three of us specifically, it is kind of an enjoyable thing. I'll speak for myself here. It's always been about the creativity in that. I have never been a creative person, so it's been nice.
Yeah. It's kind of the same for me. I've never been super creative, so it's always fun to kind of put stuff out there and work on things, help you feel a little better about yourself, you know?
Yeah. Make you feel not so lazy. I definitely get that. I get that.
sure.
It is part of that. And like, I mean, we did this, we started last year. We were still kind of in the, COVID sort of era a little bit. It makes you feel like, hey, I'm doing something, I have an outlet. I've just been trying to get this tweet out for the last 5 minutes, but now, oh, by the way, Willie, their team is just nasty, huh? 10-0. They're 3-0 now, right? We're talking tight ends today, boys.
Nitty gritty, baby. Get into the nitty gritty.
You guys are so vanilla with your top 12. Like you guys
Tight ends,
might as
dude.
well just grab the
want?
consensus and just put it up there.
What do you want? It's
I
tight
want
end.
craziness. The 6 through what's up, Dave?
Our boy Dave. What's up, buddy?
6 through 12, always wild anyways. Like nobody knows who 6 through 12 is every year.
We got some call outs. It's coming.
True. That's true.
Well,
we're gonna get him.
We're good. We'll get to him. I know I'm gonna take a lot of heat, but Robbie, you want to kick us off with some news?
Let's get some news of the day. Always a fun topic. Washington's making inquiries on Kareem Hunt. Norton, what do you think about this?
Whew, this would just make it even more. I mean, I'm not even big on the Washington backfield as is, and this would just muddle it up more. So, yeah, I mean, if it does happen to go there, I'm probably just a full avoid on all of it, or just take the cheapest at ADP.
Yeah,
does
cheapest
make
at
it-
ADP
it
makes a
it
lot of sense.
a ton more messy. This makes it a lot more.
Because what he's basically, I mean, at this point in his career, he's more of a pass catching specialist. No,
Yeah, and it
all
seems
those reports of Antonio Gibson looking real good is kind of flying out the window.
like every year with Ron
Every
Rivera
year.
on
Yeah.
CMC Light apparently.
Brian's going to have to readjust those rankings. J.K. Dobbins misses mandatory minicamp due to contract-related issues. Mario, I'll kick this off to you because we talked about him last week when it was supposedly an injury, but now it looks like it's contract-related.
Willie, this guy came out of college as a wide receiver, said, I can't make it, switched to RB. I have seen you mention this, though. One last note. Brian just recently told me about how all his players are gaining value in the offseason. He's listed all of them. Antonio Gibson was one of them. And, his self-perceived, he's probably not watching, his self-perceived value of these guys. I'm like, where are you getting this like gaining value? Like the first name I pulled up in Keep Trade Cut already was going down. Like if you look at the 3-month average, they were like minus 300 in value. That to me is like the basis of like gaining value. I don't know if I want to blast. It was Jerry Jeudy who I looked up. You would think he would gain some value the past 3 months, but no, it showed he was going down a little bit. Anyway,
I still like Jeudy. I
think that's why he thinks he's gaining value because you're sending it. No, it's Alex who was offering him something. J.K. Dobbins, dude, this kills me inside. I just started buying the hype. I was ready for it. I was like, I'm ready to be hurt again because I did like him his rookie year. And pretty much after last year, I was like, I'm out. Not because anything with him. I just don't trust his knee ever. Kills me. I am all for this running back movement that might be taking place right in front of our eyes, though.
Seems like it, right?
To be honest with you. All for it.
Yeah, it seems like they're like, it's a collective bargaining agreement at this point. They're all getting together and they're like, we're not playing.
Dude,
unless we get paid.
I know it sucks for fantasy, but man, I think these guys get hosed so bad. So bad compared to every other position besides kickers.
Yeah. I mean, well, the thing that might be nice for fantasy purposes maybe is if there is some kind of like thing that goes in with contract issues with running backs in the CBA, like a new CBA, next one, maybe longevity for running backs. Yeah, it could help. If there's more guaranteed money or something, back loaded or somehow, whatever they do, it could make it so. Yeah, it could make it so like guys like that, get to play.
I say shorten that first contract.
Yeah,
shorten the first contract.
Probably
two or 3 years. Probably 3 years is the most like reasonable. Make it a 3-year contract. Their second contract's going to have value then.
I would say honestly 3 years for a first round pick running back, 2 years for.
I would think
something like that. It's like the same.
So logical to us.
Yeah, it's like the same kind of thing with the QBs where they get the extra year if it's a first rounder, and then and then it could push maybe a little bit more running backs into a first round because people are going to want, if they really like the guy, they're like, well, we'll get that extra year and see from there. But yeah, then you get like more guys getting valuable second contracts. No,
it makes a lot of sense.
It does. It's not right, man. I don't think it's right. I think these players, I think specifically the running backs deserve to be compensated better. I'm not saying a wide receiver or quarterback money or edge money. They need to be compensated better than kickers, though. And it's not that close, but it's close. I mean, who is it? Rashad Penny's on like a kicker contract right now. I mean, they're cheap and he might get work. He might get cut, but he might get work.
He's going to get his work.
Yeah,
he might get cut. He's still
He'll be that stud.
And it's wild too, just because like I get why, like it makes sense why teams teams do it, because like it is the easiest position to transition to straight from college, and it is the easiest to plug and play, and it is the most wear and tear. So like all these things combined to make a shorter shelf life. And once they start to see that dip, then it goes downhill quick. And obviously Todd Gurley. So, but yeah,
I think no. We'll save this for another conversation. I don't think it's as plug and play as you think. I did miss the memo on the hat backwards.
I told him. I sent it in the Discord. I didn't see it.
Yeah.
The black hat backwards. That was our look tonight. But
That was.
I don't even
That
have a
was.
black hat.
black hat trucker hat.
I was gonna say I got one.
I don't even have a trucker hat.
And I debated
Send it on
it.
over.
You're too in love with the flow.
I've become a hat guy, dude, because I don't got the flow. I don't got the flow anymore. That's been gone since high school.
See, like
I'm like, I'll throw a hat on.
I always got nervous about wearing hats, man. My dad wore hats a lot. Guess what? Bald right on top. I was like, man, I'm not doing the same, dude. I ain't gonna wear all these hats.
Hey, it could be true, but I'll tell you this from experience. I resisted the hat for that reason because I was already knew it would become quick. And then once it went to this point, I'm like, I told my wife like a year ago or so, I'm like, you know what? I'm thinking about I got to become like a hat guy. I'm a hat guy now. She's like, you're what? I'm like, I'm a hat guy. It's just what's gonna happen. It's gonna happen from now on.
You just show up with like fedora, like, what's up, baby?
You rock it well. You rock it well.
Appreciate you too, brother.
That's funny. All right, what do we got next, dude?
New England is making a push for DeAndre Hopkins. Seems to be kind of the news of the weekend. Mario, go ahead.
Non-news. It's not news.
No, but
No, I'm saying it's fake.
you're not in on it.
I don't think
Has he
DeAndre's
left New
not-
England?
Yeah, I think he's gone. There was supposed to be a contract like 2 days ago, whatever it was. I mean, I don't think he's in on it. I mean, Norton, do you agree? You disagree?
Yeah, I can. Well, I think the last time when Rob and I talked about it, I still said I think Browns. Obviously, like it seemed like New England's like making a stronger case for sure, but I still think Browns. But yeah, I kind of think
Man, I do too.
if the Patriots would have been the favorite, they probably would have had it done by now. But at the same time, I think too that Hopkins kind of just wants to enjoy this. Like this is going to be his last
hurrah.
Yeah, as
Get the smoke a little bit, make people talk about him.
Yep. So yeah.
Oh, we did it at the same time, didn't we?
Yeah. Go ahead.
I did want to do a couple call outs here. Tight end is a lot of fun for us. We need to get Andrew Cooper on the show because he nailed the Evan Ingram. He's kind of has this great yin and yang article that he posts. So Tiffany, going to give a shout out to an external source here, Andrew Cooper. Coop Fiasco?
Coop
Is this
A
guy
Fiasco. Coop A Fiasco, yeah.
Coop A Fiasco, if you're not following him on Twitter, a great resource for tight end and just a good all-around dude.
Yeah, for sure.
Willie over here saying Dalvin Cook and Hopkins should both go to Houston. This is ulterior motives, everyone. He has CJ Stroud in way too many leagues. That's what we're looking at here. And that is Coop A Fiasco is a dope name. I'm gonna sound like an idiot. It's a play on Lupe, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well played, Mario.
I thought I was about to sound like a dum-dum.
Bringing back that OSU music knowledge, baby.
Man, Lupe fell off quick.
Real quick.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, what do we got today, Nort? What's on the agenda?
Yeah, so we got us a fun little game again, huh? Name that player. Blind resumes. I hope you guys.
I got nothing. I'm blind. I don't know what's going on.
I'm
pretty positive Kmet's going to be one of them. Well, we'll see.
You know my tendencies out here already. You played this game long enough. Mario, I don't know.
Twice, you know.
He's gonna catch on to these little trends. So, but yeah.
All right, Norton.
What we're gonna do?
I'll let you read these out, Norton.
Okay, and for anyone who doesn't know, what we're gonna do is I'll give some resumes of two players. Both Mario and Rob are going to say one, which they would prefer of the two without knowing which player it is, and then two, try to guess the two players and see if they feel the same way afterwards.
Let's get into it, baby.
Let's go. Player A has mid-second round draft capital and is 28
Wait, real
years
quick,
old.
Norton. I'm sorry. Are these tight ends or these are anything?
Tight ends, all tight ends.
Okay.
Yep. Last year was tight end 5, 11.8 points per game, which was his career high. The year before, 11.0 points per game at tight end 8. So 2 good years in a row.
Mm-hmm.
Last year's target share, 19.4%, 7th among tight ends. Air yard share was 14.6, 11th among tight ends.
How many do we have? So I don't hit the.
Oh, it'll go to the next player first. And he's in one of the most run-heavy offenses. So I think that's all for player A. And then we can either. Oh yeah, plays with two other high-end target earners.
Okay.
Now player B, early first-round draft capital, 22 years old. Last year's point per game, he was tight end 22, 7.6. Year before, 10.4, tight end 11, career high. Last year's target share, though, 27.3%, which was second among tight ends. Air yard share was first among all tight ends, 32.9. Also in one of the most run-heavy offenses, but plays along with one other high-end target earner. So before trying to guess the players, which player would you rather have? Redraft. You can specify, like we mentioned before. Redraft, dynasty. You can choose one for each. You could choose would you rather have for both.
Okay. Redraft. I'll go player A, dynasty player B. I got a pretty good guess on player B.
Same, but I am racking my brain on player A right now.
So I'll throw out for player A, I'm going to say Evan Ingram.
Okay.
Even though I don't think 21 he had that many points.
And Mario, you said you'd have A for redraft, B for
I don't have a
dynasty?
Well, because you guys know who I know who player B is. I know.
B is Kyle Pitts.
Yeah, everyone.
This is a great guess. I feel like.
No, he was not tight end 5.
Oh no, he struggled. He struggled last season.
What about Tyler Higbee?
My thought was like Hayden Hurst, but I'm pretty sure he was a first round draft capital.
I'm pretty sure Hayden Hurst was first round. Player A is not Hayden Hurst. It is not Hunter Henry. It is not
Evan Ingram.
It is not Evan Ingram.
How about Gerald
Higbee?
Everett?
It is not Everett or Higbee.
Oh no, because it's not run heavy.
I said Higbee.
So run heavy, I was thinking Tunyon, but Tunyon sucked last year.
Tight end 5.
No way! Oh no way! It's Tunyon.
No.
Is it Tunyon?
No,
I was gonna say he wasn't 5 last year. We should know who tight end 5 is.
It can't be Hooper.
Hooper's-
Hooper sucked last year too.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Not
I know Tiffany was going with the run heavy.
Kittle
heavy
was
stuff.
3, right? So it's not Kittle.
I think Kittle was 3 because it's not Kittle. It's not Kittle. Who are some more run heavy offenses?
That's what I'm trying to. Is it Goddard?
Ding, ding, ding. Dallas Goddard.
Goddard.
Dallas Goddard.
I like that. That's a good one. He was tight.
Yes.
It's points per game, so that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it's interesting too because like obviously you can see like the underlying stuff with Pitts but it didn't manifest. Whereas like the stuff with Goddard, he was more efficient on the work he got.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
So-
100%.
But yeah.
Also,
got a lot
dealing
of
with
similarities,
a
though,
very
from-
good quarterback as opposed to
Yeah.
hot trash
Yeah, for
in
sure.
Atlanta.
For sure. Ooh, we got
A
another one.
second?
A second.
Baby.
A
I
second.
love these.
All right. Late second round draft capital, 24 years old. Last year, 9.3 points per game, tight end 12. The year before, 9.5, tight end 16, and that was career high. In last year, 18.4% air yard share, 8th among tight ends. Last year's yards per route run was 7th among tight ends, 1.86. Second among all tight ends in explosive reception rate, 25%. And plays along
How do you find that?
one high-end target earner. I found that one. That was a little tidbit I found from Dwayne McFarland.
That's a good one.
This guy, also a second round, mid second round draft capital, 24 years old, same age. Not same draft class, I will tell you that. A little hint. 22 last year, 8.7 points per game, tight end 16, career high. Year before, 7.1, tight end 21. Last year's air yard share was 14.2%.
I know, I'm confused on the draft capital now or draft class. Because like one of these guys came in at 21 then.
I know who B is.
2022's yards per hour 1.67, 13th among tight ends.
Schultz is older, Willie.
Plays in one of the most run-heavy offenses.
I think Schultz is
And
older.
also plays alongside one high-end target earner. So who would you guys rather have, A or B, for a redraft?
Give me
Dynasty.
B all day.
I'm assuming.
So look, I'm just looking at stats here. I'm taking A. Like everything about A looks better. And I am very clueless on who these are.
I'm fair with that. That's a good guess, though.
Man, is this going to bite me in the ass?
That's a
later
good
tonight?
guess.
Ooh,
oh, the
Dave.
Muth is Luth.
Yeah.
The double Fryermuth.
Ooh, 2 Fryermuth guesses. That's pretty good because that is correct. You can
Is that
Fryermuth
A?
on A.
You could ding that one.
Ding ding, Fryermuth on A. I know who B is. Mario, you want to take a guess?
I can't think of like if they're not the same class, that means 24 was drafted in 2019.
2020.
Then they are same class.
Or wait,
No.
Oh no, I see what you're saying. He has 2020 stats. Yeah. You're right. 2020.
it's Tiff.
Oh, is this Kmet?
This is
It is.
Yeah.
It is. Put that one in there, especially for Rob. He knows how I do it.
Yeah.
He knows.
He always wants to knock my guy down a peg right before we talk about it.
Hey, as somebody who was just looking at all of these stats and was absolutely clueless on either tight end, it was Muth easily for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. I think Muth could
for what it's
be
worth
really good this year.
For what it's worth too, I didn't cherry pick stats necessarily. I mean, you see, I kind of use a lot of similar kind of data, but like I used obviously guys where I looked at the the specific stats that I generally use to make the point.
Yeah.
But yeah.
No, I love it. I mean, it's what we're here for, right?
For sure. Which
Talk about what I will say. We'll get to it. I'll say it later.
Yeah.
I'll say it later.
Pocket that.
We'll pocket that. Let's get into Rob's top 12 tight ends. I did switch this around a little bit, so just so everyone's aware.
Typical.
Number 12, coming in at 12, I got Chig Okonkwo. Okay, 11's not there, but 11 is Cole Kmet. 10 is Juwan Johnson. There's Cole Kmet. No, that's going to be an issue coming up later because I switched them around, so that makes a lot of sense. Number 9 is Evan Ingram. Number 8, David Njoku. Number 7, Dallas Goedert. Number 6, George Kittle. Number 5, Kyle Pitts. Number 4, Darren Waller. Number 3, Mark Andrews. Number 2, TJ Hawkinson. Number 1, Travis Kelce.
I see you were just keeping us on our toes. That's all. Like keeping.
I was messing around.
Kyle Pitts coming down a little bit.
He dropped one spot. I had him at 4.
Did you have him at 3 at one point this year?
Maybe like very early preliminary ranking, like super early.
Should have kept him.
Darren Waller's been bouncing around a little bit for me. But
he is now direct middle of us, Norton.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Right in the middle. But yeah, I can't get off the Waller train this year for some reason.
I can't.
I will say
I am out of here.
I've
been
debating moving Waller up because I have him a little bit lower than I want to. I'm kind of moving him.
Ian's got him at 3.
Yeah, I saw that. And my boy Dwayne has him 5 or 6 maybe.
I'm still in, man. I'm in on Darren. I think he's gonna have a really solid season.
Yeah, I like him too.
He's just
all right.
Everything about
Who's
him.
coming at me?
Progressing.
Oh, Tiff's coming at you.
Come with the fire.
Oh wow. Hawkinson over Andrews.
Choice.
Interesting.
It's a choice. I don't.
It's
I
a
don't
bold
know.
choice. It's a bold choice. I think there's more weapons this season in Baltimore. That's kind of my main reason. And Hawk went off last season. He did when he got to Minnesota. He was nuts. Andrews, obviously, Andrews could definitely he could finish one, but I think it's those three at the top, and then there's everybody else for this season. So those three, I mean, Kelsey number one for sure. Then Hawk and Andrews are in their own sort of tier for me. Then after that, it gets muddy.
Norton, what do you think is the most muddiest on this list?
So yeah, I think we're gonna have to call him out on Cole Kmet, right? That's
gotta be.
Yeah.
Cole Kmet. I did have him at 10, as you can see.
Brian made. I love this image.
I know.
Tiff ain't gonna be happy with me.
I don't hate it, Tiff. I don't hate it.
Tiff is right on my same little wavelength.
I don't hate it.
Over Andrews, I can't do Pitts 3. She knows what's up.
She does. And what I will preface this just for Tiff, because obviously, the whole Dad Bod squad loves her over here. So Musgrave is my rookie tight end darling of this class. I drafted him in every league.
Pandering.
I think he's going to be a stud, man.
Flag.
I've been talking about him since 2 months now. I think he's going to be. He's in one of the TikToks. He's one of my my tight end deep dark sleepers.
Kmet 7.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I don't have him at 7. Now he's at 11.
And obviously these.
Yeah, that's the type of sleepers I need on here.
There he is.
Love
Dave coming through.
Love to hear it.
Yeah, and obviously a little bit has changed in some of these graphics. So just so people know, Rob obviously had moved Kmet to 11.
What's yours?
What's
rank
that?
What's your Kmet rank?
I do have him 16.
Okay.
Yeah, I do have him 16. So
16, 15. I don't hate it.
Yeah, I mean, so for me, when it comes down to Cole Kmet, as I put him in the thing, last year he was tight end 16. Year before it was worse. His points per game jumped up last year, but that's also because his touchdowns went from 0 to 7. In actuality, though, his targets went from 93 to 69, his receptions 60 to 50, and his receiving yards went from 612 to 544. So really, everything was kind of down. And again, it was because Chicago was so run heavy with Fields. I'm expecting them to pass more. I will say that. So I do expect his numbers to go up a little bit, but I also expect his target share to go down now that they have DJ Moore. DJ Moore is a far better. I mean, I know some people aren't in on DJ Moore fully, but there's no doubt about it that DJ Moore is a higher target share earner than Darnell Mooney, and just a better target share earner than Darnell Mooney. So there is that. So I expect his target share to go down, but I expect them to pass a little bit more. So it's kind of offsetting there for me.
So do you still think he'll get around 60, or you think that bumps up?
In terms of, you're saying in terms
overall
of
targets.
Overall targets, I think he'll probably be in 75 because he had 69 last year. So I think it'll be about 75-ish. Maybe get I
think I have him around 82.
Okay.
Something like that.
Okay. And then I also expect now they signed Robert Tonyan too. And he's more of a blocker, but at the same time, if they do use him a lot in the run game, it could take him off the field. And obviously if you're off the field, you can't get points. So
yeah.
When it comes down to that, there's just a lot of guys. I don't see a ton of upside with Cole Kmet too. Once it gets past that certain point, like I said, so run heavy, all those factors that I'd rather take the shot on. A lot of these guys that are in more pass heavy, higher scoring offenses. And like I said, I think DJ Moore is still a target hog. So it's just hard for me to get there with Kmet on that.
No, I get it. I get everything you said. Go ahead.
Let me add one piece. The piece that I want to add to this, he in 2 of his games made up for 40% of his fantasy points last season. I get it. That's part of the game. I understand. But 40% in 2 games is insane.
Yeah, no, it is. It is. But Norton, kind of my main takeaway, I agree with everything you guys both just said. It makes a lot of sense. Yeah, the highest number of receiving yards in 21.
Yeah. See.
Yeah, he's very. I mean, he is inconsistent. But I think he's also inconsistent because he was one of the better He's a good player on a terrible offense. 2021. I mean, they had Matt Nagy calling the plays. Didn't know what he was doing. Last season, they didn't throw the ball with Justin Fields. We saw that pretty much exclusively. For sure, the first half of the season, they were almost historically low. They were behind Atlanta, right, in passing attempts in the first half of the season, which was insane.
The whole time.
Yeah, it was crazy.
They're the lowest passing attempt team.
But yeah, I mean, one of my main reasons I have him up there is because of his route participation at 86.5%. I don't know did you touch on that?
I didn't put it, but
yeah. Yeah, I was going to kind of run with that. I saw it in your notes, but yeah, he had an 86.5% route participation, which was third best, and that's a very good indication of a tight end kind of breaking out. That means they want him to get involved in the pass game. They like what he can do. They want to see him out in the field rather than blocking, and that's for fantasy purposes. That's what it's all about. DJ Moore for me, yeah, he's going to, like you said, I think they're going to throw the ball significantly more than what they did last season. DJ Moore coming in there, I think it takes some pressure off of Cole Kmet, opens the field up down the middle of the field, which will be good for Justin Fields when he's scrambling around. I think Kmet's going to be there in a lot of places for him. Also, I know you said he was tight end 16 points per game, 8.7, but what do we got? But just to look at the whole tight end, he finished tight end 8 in weeks. I didn't write the weeks down, which is stupid, wasn't it? Week 6 on, he was tight end 8, 10.1 points per game. My notes are all shuffled up. I'm sorry about that. From week 6 to 18, he was tight end 7, 10.7 points per game. Weeks 8 to 18, he was tight end 12.1 points per game. And just to kind of give that, so he was tight end 5 with 12.1. Hawk was tight end 3 with 12.8. I mean, it's kind of interchangeable. Right. All those kind of tight ends from tight end 6 down to 15, 16, those points per game are so clustered throughout the season that it's kind of interchangeable. You can kind of roll with anything in that group that you could say yeah, but I think Kmet can kind of solidify himself with I don't think he's going to have a huge receiving percentage of this offense, but I think he's going to get used enough. I don't have him for 10 touchdowns. He had 7 last season. He had 9 targets in the red zone, which was crazy low, and he converted 7 of them. I think that's going to come down to 5. I just think he's going to be utilized. He's going to have a lot more targets just because they're going to throw the ball. I believe in what Justin Fields is going to do this season. I think he's going to take a step up in passing. I don't think he's going to look to scramble as much as he did last season. The offensive line should be a little bit better to give him a little bit more time to throw the ball. If all that kind of comes together, I can see him being utilized how Philly uses Goddard in with the Eagles, where, yeah, there's still 2 really good receiving options on the outside, but they find a way to get him the ball. And that's kind of how I'm seeing. I think the Chicago Bears are building their offense how Philly is, and they're kind of replicating it. So if they can do that and Kmet gets put in that Goddard role, I don't see why top 10's out of the realm. Like I said, I have him at 11, but I think he's 24 years old. Let's not forget he's 24. For tight ends, that's still super young. It takes a while for these tight ends coming in that young to kind of adjust. I mean, look at Njoku he came in the league at 19. It took him 6 years to kind of figure it out.
So let me ask you real quick. Let me jump in. You have them, and this is kind of going a little further than we probably should on the tight end episode. You have DJ Moore and Cole Kmet and Norton. Correct me if I'm wrong, because I think this is high. You have them accounting for 63% of Justin Fields' passing yards.
Oh, passing yards?
Yeah. It's taking both what you have him and DJ Moore, and obviously dividing by what you have for. So I guess what I'm saying is you have to at some point think that Fields is going to throw for a little bit more than what you have him statted out at.
Yeah, I mean that might tick up just as passing yards when I get kind of more into that side of it. But I don't think, I mean, I'm not a huge fan of Mooney this season. I don't know what that's going to turn into, but I think it's going to be
Is
a
the
ton of
offense? You're
these,
saying the offense is funneling through these two guys.
these two with, either Claypool or Mooney or somebody else each game doing something, if that makes sense. And again, Philly was what? How much of the yardage came from just AJ Brown and Devontae Smith? Like, it was a ton of it. It was probably around 60%. And even Goddard. I mean, those three combined for probably the three of them probably combined for around 80% of the team's total passing yards.
I will say, for what it's worth, it's somewhat high, but at the same time, it's possible to do it, because I was looking at player profile or Dominator rating, which Dominator, I don't know if people out there are familiar with it, but it's basically a receiver's percentage of total receiving yards and receiving touchdowns. So of whatever Justin Fields throws for, how much of the touchdowns and yardage are they accounting for? So Kmet last year was 28 point something percent, and I just looked at DJ Moore over in Carolina, and his was 35%. So that would be combined 63% if that holds. Now, obviously, he's coming over, and he, like you said, it depends on if Mooney can do it. But it's. I mean, I did expect him to probably be 58-60 minimum.
I think Mooney.
I did do a quick check on Philly. 70%. AJ
with those three,
2.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Again, I'm just going to I really, really think this offense is going to it's going to try to mirror what Philly did, go that direction.
Burned. Cole Kmet just burned us.
See, I was going to say, I think it's very possible that Rob said, that to me, so when I look at Kmet, would I be surprised if he finished tight end 10 or 11? No, not at all. Now the thing is I think there's for me, there's a top 7. Okay. And then from that point, I think after that, it's kind of there's maybe a couple other guys that are kind of right there that have more of a chance, in my opinion, of breaking out and pushing up. But then after that, it's just I'm just shooting for upside. And so when I see guys I see the only reason I'm lower than you on Kmet, like I said, I could totally see him being tight end 10, tight end 11, but I can't see him being tight end 5 or tight end 6. Whereas other guys like a Kincaid, possibly, even though I'm a little bit lower on Kincaid than consensus, but Kincaid, Dulcich, all these guys I just see them having more upside when it comes down to it.
So what is his athleticism?
It's more, for me, it's more about a combination of what's that?
Jay Fields play type.
That, and a combination of the offense, of how many passing yards I expect from that offense specifically, as combined with his air yard metrics too. Air yards is kind of a good, to me, air yards is one of the best in terms of
Thank you. It is good.
It is great. The air yards is one of the best metrics to me in terms of measuring a little bit of upside. Because obviously it's bigger plays downfield and things like that. So his combination of air yard share, along with the style of offense and the total volume of passing offense, just kind of pushes him down on the upside scale for me.
That's fair. It's just, it also, for me, it's kind of, do you think that Fields is taking a step? Is he going to take a big step forward? And if he does, I think that Kmet will be a big beneficiary of that. This is a good question. We didn't touch on this, but do you think Kmet takes a little bit of a backseat with Tonyan coming there?
I love Tonyan. Least of concerns for, I think, all three of us.
Yeah, it's mostly just a blocking thing.
It had to be.
Yeah.
They didn't pay him.
Yeah, I'm not. Again, I just with the route participation, if Fields kind of takes a step forward, I'm in.
It's fair.
Who do we have next? We got Norton's top 12.
Norton's top 12.
Yes, sir.
Hit him.
Yes, sir. We got Chig Okonkwo at number 12. Dalton Schultz, number 11. David Njoku, number 10. Evan Ingram at number 9. Pat Fryermuth, number 8. Darren Waller at number 7, on the rise. Dallas Goedert, number 6. At number 5, George Kittle. Number 4, TJ Hawkinson. Number 3, Kyle Pitts. Number 2, Mark Andrews. At number 1, the GOAT, Travis Kelce.
The GOAT. The GOAT. Dude. Look, I'm going to sound like a broken record here. Is this my time to call him out, Robbie?
Go ahead, buddy.
I'm going to call you out, but you go ahead with yours first because that's specifically how we kept notes. I think it makes most sense here.
Yeah, I can do that. I can do that for you.
So I also want to preface this, and I'm not saying we're a trendsetter at all, but I've been seeing a lot of hate on this guy recently, and I feel like I was all alone on an island about 3 weeks ago. Was that conversation? Maybe 2.5 weeks ago. It's old enough where we got TikTok videos on it, and I felt very alone in that time. And I've been seeing a lot of hate recently, and I'm not calling him a bust by any means. I love his talent. I love his athleticism. I do not like his team for his role. It's Kyle Pitts, dude.
Why do you hate Cotton? No, yeah. So I can understand it because obviously he was tight end 22 last year, 7.6 points per game. The thing is, though, you look under the hood and everything is so juicy. So juicy. I mean,
that's a solid comment.
Over
Sorry, didn't mean to cut you off.
No, it's fair. Kyle Pitts, every metric you look at is pretty awesome. Yards per route run, 2.07, fifth best in the NFL. Target share, 27.3, second best in the NFL. Targets per route run, 34.3%, best in the NFL. Air yard share, 32.9%, best in the NFL. And again, this is over Travis Kelce, over Mark Andrews, any of these guys. Over the last 12 years, if you average out all 36 tight ends that finished tight end 1 through 3 in that span, their average target share was 21%. Again, Pitts is 27%. Air yard share, 22%. His was 33%. And they were able to average with those kind of metrics. They were able to average 16.2 points per game on those metrics. His was down at 7.6. His expected fantasy points, even accounting for terrible QP play, was 10.9 points per game. They may remain like run heavy this year, but they were historically bad offense in 2022. I mean, it's almost a guarantee they're going to be better in 2023. Last year, they averaged 172 yards per game. Since 2011, that was the fourth worst number in the NFL. Fourth worst. Yeah. So it's truly an outlier. First percentile outcome. On top of that, Pitts saw the worst quality of passes in the NFL. So not only was it just low like that, the quality he saw specifically. So his catchable pass rate was 59%, which was worst among all tight ends in the NFL. The average was 79%. And again, he's still not even 23 years old yet, entering his third season. Most tight ends don't even break out until year 3 as is, and usually older than 23. And let's not forget. I do
have the answer to this, by the way, and I'm sorry to cut you off.
Yeah, no worries.
Ritter's pass attempts were 28.5, if I remember correctly.
They were like 29, and Mariota's with 23.
Yeah, so I mean, right there, I am expecting Ritter is not going to be Mariota. I don't even care. This is the thing. If Ritter is terrible, they go to Taylor Heineke. Taylor Heineke was fine in supporting receivers. Like he was, and like I said, he's Kyle Pitts. Also, let's not forget he's one of, if not the greatest tight end prospect we've ever seen in terms of. I mean, we got a guy that's Megatron style, size, and speed with a tight end designation. And again, I was, for what it's worth, I was low on him coming into the league in terms of rookie year production specifically, just because we see how long it takes tight ends to, even though elite tight ends, how long it takes for them to come into their own. And with Kyle Pitts, he already produced like a historically good rookie year. Last year took a step back because I'm blaming it all on the offense of Mariota. To be honest, I think, like I said, it was historically bad. First percentile outcome, fourth worst in the NFL history in the last 11 years. So it's like, how is it not going to get better?
So there's a lot of reasons that it couldn't get better. I mean, look, he is a great prospect. He's an athletic freak. He would dominate if he played with Patrick Mahomes, if he played with a competent quarterback, if he played on a team that throws the ball the way that we watch the NFL throw the ball. The Falcons just don't do it. And like, I get all of these great metrics. I think they're perfect, but we have to look at like what makes a tight end 3. And there's two things. The last 3 years, you could look at it. They average 100 targets and they average about 8.3 touchdowns. So 100 targets, very doable for Kyle Pitts. And what he does with that could be great. I mean, like you said, he had 1,000 yards his rookie year. What tight end did he finish as?
11.
It wasn't tight end 3. And then and we'll give him total points to give the benefit of the doubt, tight end 6, right?
Something like that. Yeah.
Because he's had 1 touchdown in those games. And then last year, we saw an increase in touchdowns, but in 10 games, we saw 2 touchdowns. The offense, the difference, better QB play, the same coach. And I'm going to kind of go outside of my notes here and come from the bottom down. In the red zone, they ran it 57.7% of the time, and they had about 201 opportunities. So those opportunities are going to go up a little bit, but they're still running the ball in the red zone. They're still running it a ton. And they added Bijan. Like, I know I sound like a broken record at this point because this is somebody that I've been kind of going to bat about a lot this offseason. But it doesn't make sense to put him there and to draft because he's being drafted tight end 3. No, later,
not right now. He's like, okay. I think he's tight end 5 on ADP generally.
I do feel like you're ranking him at a ceiling here. Like I truly believe that he is ranked at a ceiling at tight end 3 because like we've never seen, he's had in 27 games, correct me if I'm wrong there, 3 touchdowns. And we haven't seen a full, like we haven't seen him finish higher than tight end 6 on total points basis yet. So Desmond Ridder last season would be on pace for 488, somewhere between 500 and 530 passes is what I'm expecting. They had 17 rushing touchdowns last year. We have to believe that rushing touchdowns number goes even higher with Bijan. You have Algier still there. You have Ridder who can run the ball. You have to think that touchdown rushing number also goes up because I know you're accounting for a better passing offense, but you have to account for a better rushing offense with Bijan. Couple more points. Targets can be easy for Pitts to obtain if he's healthy. 100 to 110 is very doable. I already said that. So I guess the thing is like, he's going to have to probably score ballpark. What are you expecting Ridder to score touchdowns wise? Passing TDs, 20 max?
Yeah, probably. I mean,
he's going to have to score 40 to 50% of his Ridder's passing touchdowns to get in this tight end 3 conversation.
And like I said, the thing is for me, like I think he can do that. That's the thing. It's like, because when you look, like I said, when you look at his target share, his air yard share, all his share of everything that he gets of the offense, like it's historically great. I mean,
except for the touchdowns.
Yeah, fair on the touchdowns. But again, we saw that same thing didn't we not see that same thing with Megatron? They say, where's the touchdown? He had 4 one year. He had 4 touchdowns one year, and then the next year he had 19 or something, or like 16, and then like or maybe it was the opposite. He had 16 and 4 or whatever it was. And we saw it with Julio too, where Julio was allergic.
Julio all the time.
Yeah, allergic to the end zone and this and that. But it's like
I get it.
Austin Eckler. He was too small. He was too little. He couldn't score touchdowns until he did.
That was different.
And now he's projected for the most touchdowns in the NFL year in and year out. It's like that's the thing. Is like to me, touchdown variance is the biggest variance in the NFL. It's also the biggest splash play in terms of it's either yes or no. It's 6 points or it's 0 points. But it's not in between. There's not an in between.
I think there's so many differences that happened with both those guys' careers. How many different head coaches did Calvin Johnson have throughout his career? How many, which is also offensive coordinators, defensive coordinators, whatever. How many different coaches until Austin Eckler started going off? Because I think it was Austin Eckler's best year was Justin Herbert's first year, which was the last year of he was the Browns DC, I think, for a year. I can't think of his name right now. Anthony something.
Lynn.
Like these guys have different coaches. They have different offensive systems, but Pitts is coming back to the same old dude. And you guys are all going to be tweeting in October and this November, I hate Arthur Smith. And this team is telling all of you all off season what their game plan is. It's very like it's printed on their forehead, run. And you guys are all gonna be like, what the hell, Arthur? Throw to Kyle. And I literally cannot wait for it. Like, I think he'll do fine. I have him tight end 7. I don't think you can even argue maybe that's low, but tight end 3 seems like his absolute ceiling as a tight end for his team. He would have to destroy it in touchabouts.
I mean, the thing is, I don't think he even has to destroy it in touchdowns because think about if they just throw 500, if they throw 530 times, right? Just say they throw 530 times or 500, and you get you get more than a quarter of those, right? That's if they throw 500 times and he gets more than a quarter of those, that's 125 targets, dude. Like
it's not enough for tight. It's not enough for top. 125 is not enough. It's not enough
125
for top
targets?
3. Yeah, like if you look at 6 touchdowns minimum in top 3, that's it for the past 3 years. 6.
But that is again, if you look at those guys, how many of those guys have gotten 125 targets?
There was at least 4 of the 9, at least 4.
Kelsey had to have gotten over.
I was gonna say, I think Kelsey's one of the only ones.
Andrews,
but Andrews had like 150 last year. Yeah,
Andrews had that many targets.
Hawkinson might have had it last year.
Not last year. Hawk had over. Andrews was hurt, wasn't he?
Yeah,
I said Hawkinson. I said Hawkinson.
I was talking about Andrews.
21 easily had it.
He had like 150 or something.
Yeah.
See, the thing is like most of those guys that got those touchdowns didn't have that huge of targets. They were boosted on touchdowns. Like that's what I'm saying. Like yeah, it's possible that
Hawkinson had 129 last year. Like these guys are getting those targets.
And he had 6 touchdowns. And
he was tight end 3.
Yeah, tight end 4 per game. You're telling me if they throw 100 or 500 plus times and
he gets 125, I'm not that scared.
Just say Kyle Pitts gets his same percentage of what he got. 28% target share, 34% air yard share with just average QB player, even just slightly below average, not league worst, not like historically bad. You're telling me he can't catch 86 of 130 targets? 900 yards?
No, but that's still not. That means 3 is still his absolute.
Unless
it's still his absolute ceiling, though. Unless he composes that with 8 touchdowns, 7 touchdowns, probably on that number. It would have to be better than what tight end 3.
That would be better than what Hawkinson did last year. That's what I'm saying. If he catches 85 of 130 targets for 1,000 yards and 6 touchdowns, that's better than Hawkinson last year. That's not ceiling to me even. That's not ceiling because the guy has
we're higher than that. What are you saying about Bijan then?
I love Bijan. I think this offense is gonna be super, super, super concentrated. It was last year.
Then you have to think like Drake London gets his.
Yeah, I love Drake London. it's dude. Look at both of them last year were like 50 to 60% target share alone, not even dominator rating, like target share. Like they were getting just force fed. Like they've
already been saying like we want to get Bijan out everywhere on the field. They've already said that.
I agree. They're going to throw to him as much as
and even if they do, like I said, Kyle Pitts.
And
like
again,
I said,
I'm not worried about the targets. Like Kyle Pitts has to still learn to score. I get touchdowns of variance. I get it. But like we're in the same offense. We had a better situation 2 years ago to score. We scored once.
Yeah, and how much did he score last year?
Twice.
That's what I'm saying. You said
increase.
He increased in a worse situation because it's just natural progression. It's just natural progression as a player. The guy's going to learn how to play in the NFL in his 3rd year in the NFL. He already scored more touchdowns in a worse situation. So you're telling me if the situation gets better, he's going to score worse touchdowns?
No, 3 or 4 is fine.
But that's what I'm saying. Like if he gets just average QB play, they throw 500 times, which is low. He's going to get 120 plus targets. And then if 120 plus targets, you give me, if you tell me that Hawkinson and Pitts get the same amount of targets, who do you expect to get more yards between Hawkinson and Pitts?
Pitts, but Hawkinson's
Right.
going to get more TDs.
Possibly, yes. I mean, I would bet on that.
They
Yes,
just
I would
throw
say.
in
But,
they throw in the red zone and end zone much more than Atlanta will.
yeah, I mean, for your point is definitely fair for sure.
Because it's
but
not
when
like Kyle Pitts is breaking off 50, 40, 30, even 30-yard touchdowns early. I mean, like, it's not like that's happening with this big dude. Like, he's fast. I get it.
But what I'm saying
like,
is it can, because he has a 34% air yard share. Like, that's like historically good. That's what I'm saying. Like, he is targeted like a deep downfield Megatron style. It's not even like the physical comp is the same thing, but dude, the way he plays, even like they're targeting it,
and we're gonna have to
deeper than
land
any.
those with Desmond Ritter.
I understand that. Like, I understand it's not going to be as efficient, like in terms of like getting the actual
And I like
receptions. And
Ritter.
They need to
Yeah.
tank and get a real QB.
I agree.
That
agree.
offense
They
was
won't.
nasty.
They won't.
You-
Arthur Smith will not lose this job.
For what it's worth, you're probably going to be right, and I'm going to be MF and dude.
But like, I see your point too. Like, his metrics, he's a great player. The situation is just screaming like 3 is so. It seems like the ceiling. But I'm repeating. I'm sorry.
I know, me too. I feel bad.
We'll keep
You
it
guys
going because
should.
I gotta roll my top 12. You guys could just leave me alone and just leave it be if you want to. You know. At 12, we got Sam Laporta. I wish Dave was still watching. 11, we got Darren Waller. Ooh. 10, surprise, Jawan Johnson. Number 9, Pat Fryermuth. Number 8, Evan Ingram. 7, Kyle Pitts. 6, Greg Dulcich. 5,
Spicy.
Dallas Goddard.
Spicy.
4, George Kittle. Number 3, TJ Hawk. 2, Mark Andrews, and 1, Travis Kelce. What's up, boys? I know
Rob,
we got a lot of froggy things on here. I get it.
A couple there. I think Ron probably will.
Yeah,
I
Roll
told
down
you
one of
guys
these
I'm way
first.
different than you.
yeah, he's
Although
swinging for
Chicken,
the
you're-
fences. He wants some
You
clickbait
said it yourself.
stuff.
6. Look. That is the last thing I want to be like Chris Sims, but I do feel like the top 12 of tight ends in the back half of that, you really can make a case for anybody in the
I
6
agree.
through 12.
I agree. But the one that I have a bone to pick is your number 6, Mr. Greg Dulcich.
I mean, look at him, dude.
It makes me want him to put him at like tight end 50.
What?
That stash right there. Like, just put him all the way down. Put him all the way down.
The
he
flow's
had-
top 5 worthy, but the stash is
Keep the flow. Cut the stash, my friend.
And Norton, just while we have this image up, you're a little bit lower on him, correct? Not 29.
Yeah, no. I was gonna say that I'm at, I think, 13. So I think I'm like directly in between you guys. That's why I figured Robbie would be the one that call you out on it, because I'm pretty much directly in between. I'm a little bit above consensus though, so a little bit more towards Mario's side.
I'm at 17
appreciate
right
Norton. And we're just gonna have to hear from Robbie about why Cortland Sutton is so great.
No, I don't have any Cortland Sutton news or anything like that. He had some good, decent games as a rookie, it's good to see. The major concern for me with Greg Dulcich being up here is Russ. It's Russ. I'm out on Russ. I don't think he's going to be good this season. I think we were really kind of we saw what Pete Carroll can do as a head coach, and especially this season with what Russ did and what Geno Smith did in Seattle. I think we really learned a lot about the offense that they run in Seattle and how maybe QB friendly it is. And yeah, Sean Payton's coming in and all that, but I have to see what they can do with him and if he's actually like a competent quarterback in a system. They also have, like you said, there's Jerry Jeudy, there's Cortland Sutton, Marvin Mims is there now, Tim Patrick's still there, and now they bring in Samaje Perine, which is going to get some targets. He's a pass catching back. There's a ton of mouths to feed in this offense. Russ can spread it around when he wants to spread it around. He can hyper focus on somebody when he wants to hyper focus on them. If anyone's going to get that work, I think it's going to be Jeudy. So my question to you is, what makes you so in on him, and what do you think this offense target share is going to be with all these extra weapons? And I don't think there's really a besides Judy, I don't think anyone's a super alpha. So I think the rest of those targets are going to get spread around a ton.
Yeah, I don't feel as confident as I did with our Pitts argument, man. I've felt a lot more heavy stats and knowledge. And this one's gonna be like, yeah, Dulcich got nice hair, dude. He was tight end 6. So in week 6 through 16, Dulcich was tight end 10 in this horrendous offense. I'm a big fan of Sean Payton. Think he's one of the best head coaches in the league. Honestly, I really like him. He knows how to get the best out of his QB. At least that's what we saw with Drew Brees. I'm not going to say he's a tight end whisperer because he was gifted Jimmy Graham and then gifted Adam Troutman or whoever he kept having after that. Because it was really Jimmy Graham. He was great, had his prime in New Orleans, and then it was whoever else they had. So I'm not going to call him a tight end whisperer, but I am excited for him to be coaching this team. Jerry Jeudy's going to get his. I think I'm higher than some of you guys on Jeudy this season. Sutton,
I got him 18.
Unfortunately, as you know, Rob, I think both of us liked Sutton last year.
Yes, we did.
But I think there's something that we have to admit to ourselves.
Yes, we do.
And I mean, we tried to make Sutton a thing. We tried to make it happen, but the bottom line is he's just a guy.
I wish I had lighters with me.
So I'm not worried about him getting any sort of targets. Mims is exciting, but honestly, let's be real. He's going to need an injury to do something. Really, it's going to be Jeudy. Sutton's going to be on the outside. Dulcich is going to be on the field a ton, and Tim Patrick's going to be on the field. But again, Tim Patrick.
That's my question. That's my question. Is there's so many pieces. You know, don't you think? For me, I just think there's going to be Jeudy and a ton of spreading the ball around.
I think it's possible, but again, so Dulcich had 55 targets in week 6 through 16. That's 10 weeks, and that's with this terrible offense.
How many did Russ miss of those games?
Was he out those games?
He was out a few. Regardless, go on.
I don't remember Russ being out last year. Am I crazy?
I think he missed 2 games.
Maybe you're right. He did week 7 and week 15. So he did miss 2 of those games, which I don't know if those play into Dulcich's target share. Week 7 and 15. 7, he had 9.
But then 15
he had 2. Okay.
Okay.
So, I mean, again, tight end 6, you could get away with being somewhere right around 90 targets for a full season. Sutton, Jeudy, Tim Patrick even is coming off of his ACL. These aren't guys that are not the healthiest group, right? I mean, Jeudy has barely missed time, but it's consistently misses time per season. Sutton and Jeudy both missed 2 games last year, but in that same spread, and again, they missed 2 games in this spread, so I know it's kind of cherry picking here. Sutton had 50 targets, and Jeudy had 57. So Jeudy is clearly the head target guy here, and Sutton and Dulcich are right around the same amount. But this is an offense that we're expecting to throw a lot more than usual, probably, especially with no Javonte. We're not going to expect P. Ryan to run 300 times, are we?
No, but I think he'll get I think he'll get passes.
So this is going to be a passing offense in general. So I think you're happy with, I don't think asking for 90 targets roughly is probably what I have Dulcich statted out for, but I'll double check. Is that crazy to have him at tight end 6?
Over Pitts, yeah. Yeah. We'll see. No, but hey, I was going to say that's my only.
I do have Pitts at a higher target.
This is the same as Evan. Who do you have over CD?
No.
Yeah, we won't get to it though.
Over CD.
But I will say just a quick hitter on Dulcich for me was that I do have him above consensus. I'm fairly in between on you guys. Obviously, Rob moved him up a little bit, so I'm technically closer to Rob, but I'm above consensus. So directionally, I'm closer to Mario in terms of liking him more than consensus. the thing I mentioned him earlier with the Cole Kmet argument, where like I think Cole Kmet is like more median outcome is better than Greg Dulcich, but I think Greg Dulcich has more upside. Like Dulcich had seventh among all tight ends in air share. He was fifth in route participation. So yeah, like he was just more explosive of a player, I felt like, and younger too.
Separation too.
I think he's a really good player. Like
He's got good route.
I just think it's going to take a couple years for him to really get on, like become a top. I think he'll eventually end up being a top 7 tight end. I just think it'll take a couple years.
Yeah, the way I see him is just like when I compare him and Kmet, for example. Like I think Kmet is more likely to have just like more solid games. He's more likely to maybe finish ahead overall, but Dulcich is more likely to me to have bigger upside, higher spike weeks.
That's a good question. So I was actually. Do you have anything else to say, Mario? Because this is something that I've
told you there wouldn't be much there.
No, I've been thinking about this a ton, especially like after our wide receiver ranking episode, and we were talking about a lot of different aspects of how to evaluate wide receivers. I was thinking about it when we got to this tight end episode. What do you value more when looking at a player, either wide receiver or tight end? It could be different between the two. Like, you're going to have some receivers that they are boom or bust kind of players, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like kind of like a Tyler Lockett, or Judy to an extent last season was kind of, he'd put up those games and then he'd fall off for 3 or 4 points or something like that.
I have an answer for you.
So do you value like those boom weeks, or do you value just consistently good, as opposed to like he might consistently get you 10 points, or he could get you 15 and a 5?
I don't necessarily look at it the way that you're saying, but I'm going to answer your question how I think you're asking it. I absolutely always, if I'm not Kelsey, Andrews, maybe Hawkinson, one of those, the elite group, I am almost always waiting to be the last one to start snagging late tight ends. And I don't want that middle ground. I get it. There's value in Pat Freiermuth. I get it. There's value in Evan Ingram. I want the upside, baby. Give me all upside.
Different
Give
question.
But it's answering answering your question in a sense, because like that's what you're saying. Like, are you drafting these guys who you think are boom or bust? Which in a way, that's what I'm doing. I'm drafting the guys that I think have the highest upside.
I guess I'm talking weekly boom or bust. If that does that make more sense to you?
I think the general public will tell you they want the consistency. That's why the ADP is the way it is. But
you get what I'm saying, right, Norton?
Yeah, it's upside for me, for sure. I mean,
he's saying the same thing though. It's upside. Well, like we're both going for upside.
Yeah, but I'm not talking overall rankings, right? I'm not talking.
You're saying like, I don't want to deal with Dulcich getting 2, 15 the next week, 2 the next week, 0 the next week, 15. I want my guy to get 9 points weekly, which is Cole Kmet.
Does that, okay, so tight end, I completely understand where you're coming from. Does it switch with wide receivers?
Nope.
It's
not for me.
You'd rather have that boom week and then deal with a 2-pointer the next.
Always.
Can you give a name? Can you give a name for this?
For what?
Who would be
like
a
player
guy right now? A boom or bust wide receiver right now?
Let me pull up my wide receivers real quick.
It's always upside for me, no matter what.
As a boom or bust wide receiver,
like a Gabe Davis. I think that's a perfect person that I'm kind of.
So we got Gabe Davis down here, or would we rather have?
So
Alan
just
Lazard?
For instance, let me see where I have Gabe.
Is it Lazard? Is that the comparable?
So I have like Jacoby Myers right next to him. Like,
funny that.
I'm trying to find a couple better ones, like Deontay Johnson or
Marquise
Brown.
Gabe, see, that's a different situation because Marquise has
it is, yeah.
Right now. So if it was Gabe Davis or Nico Collins, who do you take, Norton?
Gabe.
So I'd probably take Nico, but I actually think that's the less consistent one.
For me, it's I understand the argument for it and stuff, but
how about this? Mike Evans,
Albert Tyler used to be a good example until he just balled out all season.
And I had Lockett like one of my highest drafted receivers.
Lockett was super consistent, right? Like,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. But
Debo Samuel, or Tyler Lockett.
See, but my thing is like even there, like I don't think like the upside of Debo is that much different than Lockett.
So you're off. What about Mike? I mean, you're off of Mike Evans too, aren't you?
Capped by the weapons.
Yeah, but in general, I know that the whole thing that we're talking about here, in general, I want upside just because at every position possibly because like I'd have to find it and we'd have it would be too long for me to try to find it now. But there's been some good studies on it. Like
I guess what about two if you're looking at your rankings and you have two wide receivers identical or like right next to each other in your rankings, and one is just a very consistent every week's gonna get his PPR points. He's gonna consistently get like 8 catches for 50 yards and a touchdown here and there.
So compare somebody to Deontay, because that's who it is.
Yeah, so like a Deontay, and then someone you have right next to him that can put up a 30-point game, but can also get you 5 or 6 the next week.
Gosh, see,
but they're right next to each other.
It's tough that you bring Deontay into it because I love Deontay.
It is Deontay, right? Like it's got to be.
The thing is, like I see Deontay is different than probably a lot of people see him. I see him with more upside. I see him with a high floor, but more upside because to me, upside is touchdown spike weeks and the fact that he had 0. Like people are just looking at that 0 and they're like, oh, he's not got the upside. He's got no touchdowns. It's like so. Like to me, like I'm like, okay, well, this guy's got a high floor and the high upside. That's what I love about like pass catching running backs too. Like, so it's like it's hard for me to really, but because I will say if you put a name on it, I love Deontay. So Deontay is like probably going to be my most drafted wide receiver this year. But it's also because his ADP is low because people are like, oh, he can't score touchdowns.
Yeah.
So like
Gabe is that. I mean,
it's the age old Brandon Cooks question, right? Like Brandon Cooks was this guy last season before this terrible last year. Everybody kind of slept on Brandon Cooks, but he was Mr. Consistent, finished like top 24 the past 6 years or whatever it was. Like he was pretty solid all around.
I'll tell you this:
the upside was capped.
I don't know if this will help answer it or not, but it makes sense to me. So Gabe Davis, I have technically lower in my rankings a little bit than consensus. However, when it came, I was doing a best ball draft recently. I had Josh Allen already. It came down to it. I jumped Gabe Davis over to get the stack, which is to me getting that upside. So I punched him up.
The best ball that makes sense, though.
Yeah, exactly. I was just about to say the same thing. That strategy is so different in basketball to me.
But see, that's the thing is like if you look at a lot of the good studies that like a lot of the like guys are putting out, like Hayden Winks, all these guys who are studying the tendencies of league winning, even for redraft, getting those stacks is more and more has become more and more popular in redraft.
We're not hating on the stack portion of what you said there. We're hating on the fact that like
we're talking best ball compared to redraft.
Best ball is so much juicier in general than just drafting him in redraft. And there's a lot of
I agree.
There's those huge spike weeks that just we've seen happen.
So for me,
with redraft, you never get to start those.
Just for instance, like for me, I have Terry McLaurin and Mike Williams similar, like very close in my rankings. Because Mike Will can put up those weeks that he puts up, 30 points as opposed to, and then another week will get you 10. But I think consistently Terry McLaurin's going to keep getting you those like 15 point games, like bang, bang, bang. For me, I'd rather have, I think, Terry McLaurin than have to deal with probably losing a week or two from Mike Williams getting me like 4 points.
Ah, man, that's a close and near and dear one to my heart. See, you put a name on it again. Though.
I know, and that's
tough for both of us.
And that's the thing is like it's tough because like again, I think McLaurin has a lot of upside. I think because he's an alpha versus Mike.
But you could say that a lot about the consistent guys, right? So like if there's a guy that consistently gets like 10 to 15 points a week, you could say he has that potential if he just gets in the end zone a couple times. You know what I mean? Like that, and that's the thing. Like DPJ last season was super consistent at the end of the season. He was consistently getting you like 10 points. But then you could say I'd rather have someone that can get me 30 points.
So that's a good example for me. DPJ versus Gabe Davis, like second receivers on. So they're not neither one of them in the alpha on their team, right? Mm-hmm. And DPJ, like you said, was consistent, like 10-ish points. Gabe Davis was like 230.
Yeah,
give me Gabe Davis
something
every
like
time.
That.
Like for me, it's Gabe Davis every time because there. So I will say I'd have to find it and send it to you guys if I find it. I'll look after the show and stuff. But there's some really really good studies that show boom weeks help you win more than bust weeks help hurt you help you lose or whatever. So like a 30 or 35 point game, 40 point game will push you to a win more often than a 2-point game bust will make you lose.
I just want to add to that. Like your question comes a lot to this, Rob, whether you think it does or not. When you're asking consistent, I think it is a consistent versus upside instead of consistent versus boom and bust week. Because if you're drafting a boom and bust week, you're assuming like there's upside to kind of make those.
Yeah, I guess I'm talking more of like I'm talking more if we're looking at our rankings and there's two people right next to each other, and they're typically known. There's typically known for being either consistent or having like a super boom week.
Yeah, Gabe Davis is a perfect example of that. But even him is like, if Diggs goes down, what happens then? Like my eyes widen, and then it becomes a like, not only is he a boom or bust, he could be an alpha if Diggs got hurt, right? Like, what's to say he wouldn't?
That's fair.
Yeah, and like
this play over the last 2 seasons.
Too much. I'm not like trying to die on a hill for Gabe Davis. I really don't.
No. I get
not in love with him, but like I would.
It's just something I've always kind of thought about. I was curious your guys' opinions because I've been thinking about it a lot since the wide receiver episode.
Yeah, and when it comes to me, it's especially a wide receiver and tight end thing, pass catching thing for me. So like I said, like, and to me, the way I have to really kind of see it is like comparing them being like similar roles, like, and usually it's a lot of times it's like a second receiver versus a second receiver. You get a consistent second guy versus a consistent, or you get or like a boom bust, like what we're talking about with DPJ and Gabe Davis. You get like a guy who, because then, like I said, it's hard for me to really do it with the alphas when you got a guy that's like an alpha target share earner, because to me, target share is so big of a thing. If you're earning alpha target share, your upside is higher than what some people will give you credit for, just because of, like we mentioned with the touchdown percentage. It goes back to the Kyle Pitts thing. To me is like when we were talking about it with Mario, like how he's saying like, the touchdowns may not be there, but to me, as I'm like, he's putting up historically great like stats that we typically associate with where the upside of points per game would be. Now all he needs to do is score 6+ touchdowns, 8+ touchdowns, and boom. And it's like that touchdown variance is so hard to figure out that it's like, it's just so tough.
Yeah. I feel it. Boys, solid episode.
Always a fun one.
For sure.
Tight end's going to be funny this year. We're going to have a lot of debates.
Have we done our top 12 RBs? Yes, we have.
Yes.
It's on
YouTube.
That was last week.
Yeah, if you click the live, you can see it on YouTube. We do not have the TikTok videos for it yet. If you those are those, but
yeah, those are coming out soon.
Yeah, should be our next ones actually. We got more quarterbacks, and then it's going to be that.
Couple more quarterbacks than that. But yeah, it's on there. It's on our iTunes page and all that sort of stuff. You could find them in there.
YouTube page under live. Yeah. I'm sad. You guys have fun without me this week. Enjoy Wednesday. Neither of you guys are on. You guys are back Friday.
Yeah,
Thursday.
We'll be back Thursday. Me and Nort.
Yep.
We're gonna hold it down.
For sure.
Wednesday is Cody and Alex.
Wednesday I'll see. I might, if I got time, I'll hop on and help them out. Have a little fun with the boys.
Well, we'll talk later about that. But yeah, if you guys aren't already following Norton, check him out at Norton0723. We gave him a little shout out today, but we'll give him another one right here.
I appreciate it.
For sure, dude. For myself, for Robbie Bobby, for Norton. Peace out. Thank you for watching our episode. If you enjoyed this episode, please make sure you like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
If you aren't already following us on Twitter, check us out at DadBodFS.
We'll be posting all of our best clips and videos to all of our social media: TikTok, Instagram, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube. You can find us on there at DadBod Fantasy Squad.
Lastly, if you'd rather just listen, we make sure we post our audio of each episode on all the major streaming platforms. Stick with us all season long so together we can count our trophies and not our calories.